Okay, straight on from the one of Liz with the profile closer up, and now we're going to go a little bit further away. Same sort of scene with the light shining through from the background, but this time with the flowers and a bit more gardenscape around it. And we're still going to treat it fairly loosely, build up very loosely, work onto her, and then come around with the flowers a bit more tightly here, leaving it a little more of a vignette around the outside. So once again, we want to start with just building up a basic background, and to do that I'm going to go back into the same sort of colours again, yellow ochre and a little bit of white and a little bit of cerulean blue to give my basic green first of all. Blue-green here in the background. Taps on my brush there just to get it to soak in a bit. Coming around her profile here fairly quickly. If you know me, I work very rapidly. I try to work in the same sort of way as I would work if I was actually working out on plein air in the wild. Let the board soak the paint in. It wants to be fairly cool and fairly blue because it's in the background and we want the sun to shine out, and the sun is a lot warmer. Back there it goes, very cool. So I'm going to take a bit more blue, but this time I'm going to take some cobalt blue, which is cooler still, and go behind her head here. It also wants to be a bit darker as well because we want these bright flowers, these yellow marigolds and so on, to shine through in a moment. And we'll just feather, this is feathering now, little strokes with the brush, just feather those colours back in again here. Take some of that blue and bring it through into here as well, just giving the feeling of a darker, cooler green going through here. Because the board's so absorbent, we need a fair amount of terps into the paint just to get it to soak in well. Here we've got a much deeper green, so I'm going to take the ultramarine and a little touch of the yellow ochre and give myself a slightly soft but warmer green down into there, as if the hedge is coming up through there. And then we'll take a little bit of chrome yellow and cerulean just to make a slightly warmer green coming in there. And here there's a very warm, or much warmer, a little bit of Indian red and ochre shed, which has had a bit of green into it as well, so I'm going to come back into there with some green in a moment and bring some of that warmth through into there. Just to feel some planking in it. Really give an impression of something, and here it's much darker, so I'm going to take the burnt sienna and some ultramarine and just find the edge of that feel to planks a little bit that are coming down the doors. See how simple that is, just to indicate and bring out this dark, a bit of hedging going on behind there. And over the top of that, some lemon yellow, a little bit of the cerulean, just to have a little bit of soft light catching over the leaves. I might put a bit darker back into there in a moment as well, but gradually see. Let's just find the edge of these, bring in the colour that's around it. I want it lovely and soft. Soft light, background light. A little bit of blue to come into here perhaps, a little bit of the cerulean and the white. Just an indication of these blue-greens. Maybe even a little touch of pink. Not much, just a sort of bluey pink, grey. These ageing bits of door panel. There we are. Last evening light reflecting on the leaves there. Taking that same colour and going up and around her head here, there's a pinky bluey grey going on there. Let's just feel that a moment. And some of that dark colour we made earlier with the burnt sienna and the ultramarine is coming down a bit darker into here. And making a slight composition of a curve there as the lawn comes around. These darks coming back, which will help make the flowers stand out shortly. Just scumbling with the brush now, just flicking the brush over the surface to give the indication of these darks. Then again we've got some of the greens coming into there as well, just to break it up and give it a little bit of a lift. And there we go. About there, ready for the painting of the face soon. While I'm at it, let's look at getting these greens at least established here. We can put the lighter colours in afterwards. So, yellow ochre and the cobalt, and this is our basic mid-green. Just leaving some of these areas of the MDF, the hardboard, for the brighter colours of the flowers later, but I just want to establish for the moment a wash of darker colour. A little bit more cerulean mixing with it this time to give a slightly cooler, more bluey green. And these leaves were a lot bluer, these lovely artichoke thistle leaves. So let's establish a few of those as well. See how loosely again I want to work. Get the board covered, get rid of the lots of lovely cool colours to play against the golden warms after this. Slightly warmer grey pink coming behind here. Don't paint down things all the time, paint across them and feel them as well. Go a little bit of rose in with the cerulean blue and a tint of the green to start to find the cooler colours of the flesh tones. Those highlights in a moment, just get the shadow colours in for the minute. These soft cools which we can bring over the highlights later. Let's just get these cools established. Just see the drawing showing through at the minute, so I know I'm going to be working later. I want that grey showing through here, through the hair, so that she's almost blending in with the background there. And when you find a colour, you often find it's going on in a lot more of the places as well, so I want that to be coming just through into there. Right, finished with our biggest 1-inch brush. To move down brushes now, that was a nice number 8 filbert nylon. Come down. I think now we'll go to a flat, and a nylon number 4. Start establishing some of these other colours on her body. And take a little bit of the chrome yellow and touch a little touch of rose into that, just to start to find the light areas. The back of the hand could be a little lighter still yet, but we'll just establish these first. Have to come back in with a bit of dark in a moment and Bring that back a bit. I think it wants to be a little bit pinker, but also a little bit of warmth going on her shoulder just here, just to catch the light. And it's very, very light back here, catching sunlight as the hair's been just caught up in some of the plant as she's come down to pick the flowers. So you see we're just starting to feel the lights and darks. Now a little touch of cooler, a little touch of mauve into that, and we'll start to bring that warmer colour across her arm. Down her neck here. Onto her cheek, chin. Very soft light then, reflected colours. A bit of reflected warmth underneath her arm as well. Just feel the muscle structure of the arm. Gradually mould the face with a little bit of light, reflected lights wherever they're going. The dark we made earlier using the brown and the ultramarine blue is a very useful dark. We'll do it again. Because we can make it cooler or warmer, whichever we like, and start to look at the darks we should have on the face with that. Those earrings again that we did earlier. Little swirly bits of hair. Don't want them too far ahead. Just indicate her eyes a bit. Again. And underneath her nose. And her mouth. A bit finer there in a moment, just cut it back, there we go. I need a little bit more detail there in just a moment. And it's all being done by giving the impression of something rather than actually painting in detail. It's an impression of a hand there. Don't need to do more. The dress just showing in between the leaves. Of course, where it is darker, we make it a bit darker. Now we almost have the figure in as much detail as we need. Of course, there are other darks going on around here as well, which I want to put in. And there we are. We've pulled away there now, look. An Impressionist painting done with Impressionism. We still need to go darker in places, so let's bring some of this deeper blue, this ultramarine blue into here. Feeling the darks of the hair. The hand stands out a little because of the dark behind. So we'll do that as well. Little counterpoints of light against dark that make the difference. And a much deeper colour underneath our arm here. A bit of Indian red now. And then some chrome yellow into it. So it just deadens it a bit but gives it a more golden. We're going to go much lighter than that in just a moment, but not quite yet. Play with the cools a little bit more here. and the way the blue's coming underneath that arm. It's softening it a bit more than it is. Let's see what happens when we start to play with some cadmium orange and white. I think it should be rather fun the way this thing suddenly comes to life now. There, you see, they're much warmer. This is cadmium orange and white then. I'm going to need a lemon yellow and white yet. We're not finished by any means. Just catching over her arm a little bit here. And at the back there. These lovely light areas of sunlight gleaming through suddenly here. And cascading down, quite a bit stronger in the orange in places. Now let's see what happens when we use some cooler yellow, the lemon yellow with white. That's just how different the effects of light will be here. Look how much cooler it is. Much lighter and cooler than the orange. We really do need that yellow in there to help make the orange look more orange and make the light really shine. I'm going to paint a bit little hair in, that's the point. What I'm trying to show you is that we're indicating, we're giving an impression, we don't have to do everything in great detail. Now we'll go to a proper green. We'll take a bright green, which is sort of like an emerald green with a bit of yellow in it, and let's just see what happens when we start to put in some really nice strong bits of proper green colouring to give the sunshine amongst these leaves. And tidy all this up as I go along. I'm just going to give the indications at the moment. But these warms make such a difference, you see. Just letting sunlight catch all the tips of them. Slightly duller green shadows of some of these marigolds before we put the brighter colours in. Let's lose these bits of hardboard just showing still, and by making these flowers more orange still we're able to make the yellows look paler. Right, I think now we need to come back in with a bit more detail in a moment. We'll just get a few more of these reds in. I think we need to establish, just show you how the colours can work, how they will affect the colours next to them as this is doing now. I'm going to lay in some rose into this face, which I think will help to bring out the feeling of the light, reflected light coming on in and around and behind. Now let's take some of that red and just look what's happening in and around the back of the head here to make that even warmer. These are beautiful colours. If you're an impressionist, you're looking for this beauty of colour and light and atmosphere. Now I'm adding some rose to pink, sorry, some rose to white, which is giving me a much brighter pink just here. These tiny touches of light that can just make such a difference. So a little bit of chrome and white now, and the difference again in these yellows, totally different again. Really start to see I can make these colours sing out. I love that word, colours singing, because that's what we want to happen. We want a symphony of sound and in this case colours. It's very musical, painting like this, I think. Just by the sheer beauty of colour we can do this, and I'm going to make the greens come back into the shadows a bit here again, reflected light. And keep your eye open for these colours. A few brush strokes, however roughly done. If the right colours are in the right places and the right shapes relevant one to another. See how things start to come now. Here in this little bit of flower there's some blue, and that's a very important blue. Looks nice and clean, and it will make the red shine out more. Might not take much at any time, but when you do it, it's got to be pure and the right colour. Get the feeling of just coming through here a bit. Now back in with the darks, but I'm going to need to find a brush. So now I'm going to work down to a little bit more detail of the drawing on the figure, face and head. I'm down to around number 8 now. I'm going to come down to around number 6 now, to give me a little bit of a point, not too much of one, just to look at areas like this, the ear, and drawing here and there. Let's look at these bits of dark that make quite a difference. They need to be plonked in quite firmly. The colours going on amongst this lot. Coming down to the deep, very deep blues down here, some Prussian blue. That's some of that really deep Prussian blue on my brush. For down here, quite different to the purple. And some of those darks happening in back here to also aid the lights. Just little strokes, but putting these spots in the right places, that's what's so important. These very strong darks helping to make the light seem lighter. Find the nose again. Come in the refraction. Same here, and just where the nostrils are, up inside there a little more. Don't want to do too much there, lose the shape. Here we have, so come back and soften things a bit. I've got to find the drawing again. But hopefully I'm bringing back again now. The tiniest mark can make such a difference, that's the problem. And here I'm just experimenting with that just the smallest mark in the right place can make or break it. Same with the nose here. And you see now we're almost there, I think. Need a few more highlights on little bits like this, the hand, and just to make the fingers work a bit better. And a little bit more smile just there. I think we're about there, not too much more. 2 more little highlights here and there maybe, but that's it. Capture that reflected light on the end of the fingers and the flowers. Small things that could matter. And that painting is almost there, I think. Just need a few more little lines of decoration and at the plant forms maybe here and there. And the same other way around, we've had the lighter forms, now we need some of the slightly darker greens happening amongst this lot. Not much, but just a slightly bluey stem coming up there behind that. Through some of these as well. Give the feeling of these plant forms. Rather lovely behind here. Same here, a few little lines. Not a lot, but just a few slightly warmer greens just going on here in the foreground. Just to bring it forward a bit. Where we might need a few more little bits of brown, stronger brown to play against the blues. Coming up into the hair as well, which will push this back. Just give it that bit more. And there we are, then I think we've about done there. Just hit the greens a fraction. That plant comes over there. There we go.